What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me over on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that is Scott Savage. You can find him at Savage over on Twitter. Scott, what is happening today? It is May 20th. You ready to get going for some more gaming news?
Oh, yeah, ready as always. There's a unusual lot of things happening today.
Always hot. What is up, ITG Parker? That's right, he's joining us live right now over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG. But if you can't join us live just like he did, well, you can join us later. InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube, podcast services, and of course, TV streaming networks around the world. Scott, you're just talking about a bunch of games you were playing. Dude, break it down. What are you into right now?
I've been checking out a few new titles. It's mostly on the Game Pass system that we can't stop talking about.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's one, Cyber Shadow. That one stands out.
Yeah.
Narita Boy. It's a really cool Metroidvania kind of game.
Nice.
And something called Dandara. That's
what is that?
Has its own. It's a very unique movement mechanic put into a Metroidvania, though. It is still the same kind of 2D scroller with boss fights, unlockable items and equipment and stuff. It caught my attention last night, and I played for quite a while.
Awesome. But what's coming up on today's show? Well, Outrider reaches 3.5 million players in its first month. Summer Games Fest is back, and a GTA 5 player completes the game without taking any damage. Dude, I don't know how that is possible. I know I couldn't do it.
You have to drive carefully.
Watch the speed limit. Let's get into it, buddy, because we're going to get talking about Square Enix. Outriders 3.5 million unique players in the first month. So we got a press release here from Square Enix. Announced today that Outriders, the high-intensity RPG shooter where survival demands aggression, surpasses 3.5 million unique players worldwide in its first month, April 1st to May 1st. That's according to their internal data tracking, which is awesome. Dude, I'm pretty pumped to see that.
Yeah, I was one of those players that jumped in, but I was quickly kind of turned away by the instability. So I hope, especially with the amount of eyes on this title, that they can kind of get that stability back, because 3.5 million players is quite a lot.
No,
but
absolutely.
I wonder, I'm almost surprised at the inverse number. There's so many Game Pass users that we know exist.
Sure.
15 million of them, for that matter, that did not try this game, which is surprising to me.
No, that's a good point, Scott. Absolutely. They quoted over here with over 3.5 million unique players, average play time of over 30 hours, and extremely high engaged for co-op play, which is awesome because, dude, that's a co-op experience. But we'll touch on this in a second. Launching a new IP is never easy, and we remain very grateful for the community's support and feedback. We continue to listen carefully, and we want to ensure everyone that we are committed to improving and enhancing the experience in the coming weeks and months. We also look forward to expanding on Outriders in the future. This is going to be one of their next major IPs, which is what they've stated. But when you're getting back to your point, Scott, of the fact that there are 15 million people that didn't download it on a free service like Game Pass. So dude, the potential of what could have really been. But I think what happened is, like you just stated, it was plagued with the fact of connection issues. Dude, we could not connect half the time when we were trying to play the game. That was an issue for us and a major complaint within the game. I was playing, Nate was playing, we reviewed it on the show. You can check that out at InsideTheGame.ca. And we could not connect half the time. We're on the Xbox Series X. We also tried to hook up with our good friend Kyle. We hear us talk about Kyle all the time on the show. He's got an Xbox One X. And dude, we would drop him all the time. But yet Nate and I would be able to take off and just continue on. That, I think, was the biggest problem when it came to the launch of Outriders. Get that stability down.
And then they had issues on top of that with people losing their equipment and being character wiped. And that, as soon as that came out, I think that's what really put the last nail in the coffin there. But there's evidently a lot of time for them to recuperate, and it's still available on Game Pass. They didn't lose their venue or anything. So I'm really hopeful for this one, because Outriders, well, kind of captured everybody's attention.
Absolutely. I think though, but the biggest thing is it came and then it went. And Northern Nerdcast hit us up in the Twitch chat and says, "Man, still broken." He says, "Dude, it's been out for a while now. Got booted last night." He said alone. Just last night he got booted out. It is a heartbreak because I think if they would have had the pure community and the stability behind it, we would have really been talking about this one for still months to come. What happened is everybody gets in. We're more or less forced to play solo because you can't connect with anybody, like Northern Nerdcast said, just got booted last night. But if you have that connection solved, Scott, and the fact that we could all play up, hook up as a party of 3, because, dude, when you're rolling with a party of 3, dude, my ability goes, your ability goes, and you time it with the next person ability, it's just a satisfaction. It kind of brings me back a little bit, dare I say it, to Anthem, right?
I was thinking even further back, actually. It kind of reminds me of a Destiny scenario.
Oh, there you go.
You have four players, their powers all going off, different equipment, different rarity levels. It really, people are still playing that game to this day, and I believe there's even people playing Destiny 1 still. So if they had just secured their server side, I think there's a lot of longevity.
But it seems to me, though, that this game has kind of come and went already, Scott. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we get in, we did our review, we had a great time. I personally had a blast playing this game. I still want to get to the final end game content, because there are stuff, like there's things to do once you wrapped up the campaign to keep you going even further. I'm curious to see how they're going to be able to keep people engaged, because A, it's not a games of service, what they've already said, and B, it's not an online game, really. It's supposed to be online co-op, but besides that, there's nothing else to kind of keep it alive and going. Once you're done, you're pretty well done. Like, how many single player games have we finished and then just passed over, right?
Yeah. I'm hoping they made some sort of deal to appear on Game Pass that ensures they have the funding to keep dropping kind of expansion packs. That's the only way I could see them adding any sort of longevity.
Yeah.
So I hope that's still secure.
Hopefully. Here's hoping, because, dude, I loved the game. It was so much fun. But, yeah, just one connection issue after another, unfortunately. Let's get into Jeff Keighley, because he's back with Summer Games Fest. Kicks off June 10th. This came over by gamesindustry.biz, Christopher Dring. Dude had a huge article over there. I'm just pulling little bits of it. To some, E3 is the name of the event that typically takes place at the Los Angeles Convention Center, whereas for others, E3 is a shorthand for a period of time in June where lots of video games are announced. Easily, hands down, dude, it's like Christmas for us. I can't wait this year to see what happens. Jeff Keighley, the architect of the Game Awards, wants to put a different badge around the period of time. Last year, he launched Summer Games Fest, which really, dude, just dragged on and dragged on and on. It literally went from like June until September. And that it was just like nonstop. And that's not really what he's starting to feel now. That he's starting to get the sense that everybody wants it just to be that one major, here we get blasted with all kinds of stuff, right? That's what's going to be happening. We are announcing 3 weeks in advance, which is an entirety in the digital world. Dude, the entry now for launching anything is just a matter of weeks away. It's no longer months or half a year, or like, you know what I mean? You know things are coming, but you don't have to. Well,
my favorite is the surprise drop. The
exactly.
The one Nintendo has done a couple times now, where they just, here's the announcement trailer and go find it now.
Well, exactly, right? So it's no longer do you have to wait and get the hype built up. Dude, the hype is built the day you announce it, and then the people just want to see it then, right? So that's going to kick off Thursday, June 10th. The event is called Kickoff Live, and it's going to start the whole E3 process for us all. Weezer is going to be there. They're going to open up. Dude, that's going to be freaking cool.
That's cool.
Absolutely. And over the course of the festival, gamers should expect to hear news from platform holders like, you ready for this? Sony, of course, and Microsoft, as well as a wide range of publishers, including 2K Games, Activision, Amazon Games, because they've got their new MMO New World, it's called. That's coming out. Annapurna Interactive, Bandai Namco Entertainment, Battle State Games, Blizzard Entertainment, Capcom, Devolver Digital, Damato, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Finji, Frontier, Gearbox Publishing, Hi-Rez Studios. There's a whole slew of them that are going to be there for this event. I'm curious to see how much Microsoft really wants to reveal before they head into their own conference, which I just caught on Twitter like before we went live, that Microsoft and Bethesda are doing like a event. So it's not going to do, you're not going to have two separate, right? I was kind of expecting you would see Xbox and then you would have a follow-up with Bethesda. It sounds now like they're just going to work together over the course of the event. How long is that event going to be, Scott? Hour and a half? What do you think?
Oh, probably. Well, the two of them together could certainly fill an hour and a half worth of
I think
content.
so.
And I think that this is Xbox kind of posturing. The reason they're together in one show is to show ownership, I believe.
Sure. No, absolutely. The idea is that, this is quoted from Jeff, the idea is that we will have a big kickoff show this year. Jeff tells, Keeley tells GamesIndustry.biz. Everything last year was so spread apart by nature of the pandemic, and the feedback from everyone is that we want these games shown together. So now we are going to just do that. One big kind of festival, kick things off, and then that's how we're going to do it. Dude, I'm more pumped for this format than anything else. He says, yes, we want to see shiny new CG trailers for games coming in 3 years, but the Among Us map drop at the Game Awards was a massive moment. Let's look at the top games on Twitch and YouTube and make sure that's reflected in the programming. That's a big focus for us as well. We are streaming this on Twitch and YouTube. It's probably pretty important to include the games that are most played on those platforms. So if you take a look at those games right now, if you go to Twitch and you check it out, first of all, find us. And then second of all, go see what the top games are. But that's where they're going to start catering to, because there's an audience behind all that stuff, right? So they want to be able to do that. Yo, what's up, Jojo? How's it going, man? So it's dude, I'm pumped. I'm definitely curious to see what we're going to get out of Keeley's announcement, because you don't want to reveal too much. I don't see Ubisoft being there. Ubisoft has their own event, so why not hold all that stuff to showcase at your event? Maybe have a little... maybe like the Division Heartlands little tease, like a small tease to say, hey, follow up with our actual UB Forward event that they're going to be having. Something along that line is what I would expect more at this point.
Yeah, certainly. There's some things that we already know that are coming down the hatch that they might want to allude to. But other than that, I think they're going to hold it for their own event.
I think so. We'll see what EA does, because new EA studio dedicated to open world action adventure will be led by former Monolith studio head. Dude, you know the game Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. Yeah, let's do it. EA has hired ex-Monolith Shadow of Mordor vice president Kevin Steffens to head a new studio focused on open world action adventure games. This was reported by GamesIndustry.biz. Once again, those guys are on fire over there. They're fantastic. They get all the inside news. Steffens worked on head of Monolith Productions for a little over 8 years. After a 5-year stint as vice president in development at WB Games and a decade on the engineering team at Monolith before that. This is going to be a Seattle studio based, all working from home is what they're trying to work this around. Dude, that's pretty cool. This whole new work from home thing because of the pandemic now opens up opportunities, I think, well beyond everybody's expectations, and see what we can do from here. But the biggest thing, biggest thing for me is that it's a Monolith developer now coming over. EA, another studio, and I want to touch on too this. Look at this. Is another move from EA's recent and growing list of acquisitions and new partnerships. In the past few months, EA has purchased Super Mega Baseball developer Metalhead Software, Dirt and Project Cars developer Codemasters, and Glue Mobile, the latter of which cost a cool $2.1 billion. Right? EA in there looking to revitalize, I think, some of their name in a sense, right? Because we've seen some stuff come out of EA lately that just isn't really hitting home with a lot of people, and it's starting to suffer on a couple of different fronts. So we'll see now what they can do with this open world game. We've seen them as of recently shut down two Star Wars games, Scott. So like the future might be bright, but we're not going to see this anytime soon.
Oh no, sorry, I'm just gonna have to stop you for one moment here. I have to attend to some matter. It's just gonna take me 1 minute here.
All right, let's continue on then. We're going to go on. So my concern now is when are we going to see this? What is going to happen? What's the future look like for these guys? Where are we going to be held with the fact that EA now has acquired and started a new studio, which I think is great in that manner because everybody wants to see new IPs. So it's exciting to see an open world game. Open world has been around now forever at this point. So we'll see what happens with the future of that. Let's get into GTA 5 player beats game without taking any damage. I kid you not. I don't know how that's possible. A GTA 5 speedrunner has become the first person to complete a game without taking a single point of damage, completing the game in just 9 hours. I was nowhere near 9 hours. I'm not a speedrunner either, but speedrunner unnamed D managed to feat earlier this week, posting their 3-part video on YouTube. Go check that out. I'm definitely curious to see it myself. Unnamed D says it took them 48 attempts to actually achieve it using a mod known as One Hit Knockout, which sets characters' health at a measly 1 point. So, dude, you can sniff on this guy and he would be down and out. As if that weren't hard enough, the speedrunning rules around forbid Unnamed D from using any armor to protect themselves, and the mod disables Trevor's invincibility ability. That is awesome. How long to beat? Estimates on the average playthrough of GTA 5 main story is about 31.5 hours. Speedrunners have done it in 3 hours and 20 minutes. How? The world of speedrunning is a very cool and interesting place. It is not one I tend to dabble in whatsoever, because I'm just not that good at games. I just like to play them. So we'll see what happens in that front. But it's the world of GTA. We talked about this yesterday on the show as well. GTA is getting a remake version coming to Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, which I am ecstatic for. I cannot wait to see what happens there, because the more I look back at the old version of GTA, the more I want to play. But I was there and it is clunky to go back to. I find it really difficult to get into again. I tried because I need to do the heists. The heists were incredible. So let's see what we can do to get those back up and running again, because man, if we get that ported to the next gen, I'm curious to see if, let me know in chat, guys, if they're actually going to remake any of the core mechanics to the game. Anybody know? Do you want to see any big changes? I don't think you can touch too much with it, but I was just talking to Nate last night from Inside the Game, and he touched on the fact that if they could just upport it with the Red Dead feel, because Red Dead Redemption 2 now is obviously feeling a lot more modern than what GTA 5 did back in the day. Now, going into next-gen consoles, I need those controls to be up-resed and kind of a more fluid than what they currently are. It's a little too chunky for me at this point. So it's hard for me to get back into, but I'm looking to get back into it for sure. I'm so ecstatic. I want to go back and play the main campaign again. It's not something I typically do. Don't look for a speed run out of me, though, because that's not happening. That will just never happen. Let's get into the wireless play with VR games. It's coming to Oculus Quest 2 at 120 hertz. We already knew that Oculus Quest AirLink, a feature that allows you to wirelessly play PC VR games on the Quest 2 headset, would support 120 hertz refresh rate at some point. What we didn't know is that it would be getting a surprise release today. The feature was pointed out by a Reddit user and then confirmed by Upload VR, who demonstrated that the feature was available following the Quest and Quest 2 version 29 update. So no longer will you be required to use the cable link or a third-party USB-C cable, which is fantastic. Right now, you can actually stream it wirelessly to your phone, and you can check that out, which is awesome. That's incredible to see. I'm going to flip this back over because we got a couple of things I want to show off here. Let's get back into this because Scott should be back any minute. What's up, Zub? How you doing, man? So let's get into the latest patch for one of my game of the year. I'm talking about Last of Us Part 2 performance patch for PS5. Yes, let's do it. So far, 2021 has been incredible and supremely humbling, as The Last of Us Part 2 has been recognized for over 300 Game of the Year awards, an unprecedented achievement. We are super grateful to our community for your terrific support over the past year, including voting us the BAFTA EE Game of the Year and the Golden Joystick Ultimate Game of the Year. We've received a ton of fan mail letting us know how meaningful The Last of Us series has been for you, and we've been astounded by all the excellent fan art, cosplay, and tattoos you've been sharing with us. This comes from the PlayStation blog. We had one of the, they had Naughty Dog over there talking to us about The Last of Us Part 2. One of the most requested items from our community has been released a PS5 performance patch for The Last of Us Part 2. Well, today is the day you can download the free patch right now. Once patch 1.08 for The Last of Us Part 2 is installed on your PS5, you will find a toggle in the display options that will allow you to choose between a frame rate target of 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. This allows you to choose your preferred frame rate to complement the rest of the enhancements that are part of the PS5 backward compatibility with the PS4 games, such as an enhanced resolution, faster load times, and more. Here's just a little tease. The team has been digging into the PS5 hardware and the possibilities it unlocks since launch last year, and we're excited about the future it holds. The patch is just the first step of working on the PS5. We'll let you know what we've got with more news to share soon. So we'll see what else is coming out of Naughty Dog. We did our E3 predictions at Inside the Game this week, so it'll air on next week's episode. Make sure to swing by, check that out, because we have some pretty good predictions. What's coming out of E3, and one of them, I involved Naughty Dog. I want to see what's coming back with those guys. So there's some definite things we need to see. Let me see where we're at here. There we go. Let's get into, you're ready for this? Time Splitters is back. Development commencing on next Time Splitters. Deep Silver confirmed as publisher. Today, Deep Silver announces the formation of a new studio that will bring the much beloved Time Splitters brand back to life. Key original members of the Free Radical design team, including founders Steve Ellis and David Doak, have reunited to reform the Free Radical design studio. Dude, that is awesome. How many fans do we have of Time Splitters back in the day? Like, man, that was such a pivotal game back on PS2. Yeah, I'm talking about PlayStation 2. That's like, man, that game is old. I never thought we'd actually see it come back. We've seen iterations of it trying to come forward, but it was back in 2000. The highly regarded Free Radical design team has a 20-year heritage under various guises and is responsible for some of the best loved, most iconic video games of the early 2000s, including Time Splitters. To finally be able to confirm that the studio has been formed and that we have a plan for the next Time Splitters game is incredible, commented Steve Ellis, studio development director at Free Radical Design. While we cannot tell you anything more about at the moment, we look forward to sharing information in the future. I'm not shocked that we didn't get anything, but the fact that they've announced it kind of has us all a little hopeful. So let's see, do we have any Time Splitters fans? Nate, I think you're in there, buddy, that's for sure. Yeah, he says he can't wait for Time Splitters. I knew it. Absolutely. Let's get into Askus Games announces Blazing Strike. Nostalgia gets a contemporary spin in the retro-inspired 2D pixel art fighter. Askus Games announced today that Blazing Strike, the 2D fighting game from developer Rare Breed Makes Games, is coming to consoles and PC in spring 2022. Inspired by classic arcade fighting series from industry greats such as Capcom, SNK, Blazing Strike evokes the excitement and nostalgia of 2D pixel art genre pioneers while incorporating a unique game system with modern mechanics. I have a quote here as well. As the interest in fighting games continues to grow, we're excited to see a title that explores new ideas in fun and creative ways while tipping its hat to grandfathers of the genre, said Akibo Shahish. Now we're going to go with that. Founder and the CEO of Askus Games. I was always fond of classic fighting games, and I wanted to make sure fighting games with an emphasis on mobility, said Mark Chung, the founder at Rare Breed Makes Games. Definitely looking pretty cool. Here's something else too we got. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, back to the show. It is Scott Savage.
I have returned.
All right, welcome back, buddy. Welcome back. All right, we're just wrapping up here into Lies of P. Scott, take that one away, dude. You at it?
All right. Well, NeoWiz and Round 8 Studio today announced Lies of P, a brand new Souls-like action RPG inspired by the classic Italian novel from Carlo Collodi. Built from the ground up using Unreal Engine 4 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Series X and S systems, Lies of P tells the story of Pinocchio like you've never seen it before. I get it. Lies of P. Pinocchio. As Pinocchio himself, you must navigate through a dark Belle Epoque world where all of humanity is lost. The once beautiful city of Krat has become a living hell, and you must find the famed Mr. Geppetto to unravel the mystery of what happened to both yourself and the world around you.
Looks cool. This game looks cool. Scott, what games are out today, buddy?
No, today we have a little bit more comfortable of a list. This is more what I'm used to.
Yeah.
We have Backworlds coming to the Switch. Grand Casino Tycoon coming to the PC. Just Die Already coming to the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Lacuna on the PC. Layers of Fear 2 has its Switch release today. Mayhem in Single Valley to the PC. Of Birds and Cage also coming to the PC. And Puzzle Bobble VR Vacation Odyssey. That one is on Oculus Quest.
Yeah, Quest title, dude. Finally. I'm pretty pumped for that. That is awesome to see. We'll have to check out the game. I haven't tried the game yet, but we'll see how that goes from there. But Servo Studios there is awesome. So I got faith in that one. We'll check it out. There's something else for Northern Nerdcast to play. Because he's just getting into the world of Oculus. There's lots of stuff to check out over there. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us today. It's been ITG Daily, the show that brings you all the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. That is Scott Savage. Don't forget, you can find us later over on InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube, podcast services, and of course, TV streaming networks around the world. Until tomorrow, everybody, we'll catch you inside the game.